Coming up on today's episode of Soap Scoop, we have EastEnders favourite Max Bowden. He joins us to talk about his new play and Ben and Ballum, because of course he's going back into EastEnders for a short stint. Plus, we have more Swarla drama. Carla is starting to worry a little bit, as she probably should, but don't worry, we're going to get into that. And also Charity and Ross in Emmerdale. They are still trying to find out whether Ross is the daddy of Charity's baby. So first of all, over to Matt, and then back to me and Chloe. So, hello, Max Bowden. Welcome to Soap Scoop, otherwise known as Being So Soap Podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Penultimate day of rehearsals for Murder at Midnight, so I'm a bit shell-shocked, but I'm good.
Well, it's lovely to have you. And to give our listeners and watchers some context, you've been a great friend to Inside Soap over the years. You've done interviews for us, photo shoots, come to our awards, and we've not left you alone since you've left Walford, and I'm not about to honour a restraining order anytime soon. So is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine by me. You know I love you guys, so I appreciate it.
So you're doing another play, Murder at Midnight. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so sort of breaking your tradition, I've gone down a sort of thriller comedy thriller-esque project, which written by Torvin Betts, brilliant writer, starring Jason Durr, Susie, Katie McGlynn, myself, and some other wonderful members of the company. And it centres around New Year's Eve, and I played Paul, an undercover police officer. Undercover police officer who's trying to do some explaining of a case that's gone cold from 5 years ago.
Yes, absolutely. And are you finally getting to do some comedy? Because the last couple of plays, and indeed EastEnders, have been quite heavy for you.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's an audience's perspective, isn't it? They'll let me know whether or not it's comedy or not. But yeah, it's certainly exercising some muscles that I haven't necessarily stretched for a while.
I have seen the trailer. It does seem a bit cheeky. You've got a bit of the Cockney accent going on there. Are you loving that?
Yeah, well, it's set in Kent, in Sepinoaks, funnily enough, at this luxurious, drug-ridden palace. So I wanted to go sort of home counties and slightly broader southeast accent, just because I think it helps with the storytelling a little bit.
Well, I'll have to stand and watch, because I'm from the Kent neck of the wood, so I'll be the or your.
Yeah, you'll have to. You can judge. Yeah, that will be a good tell.
You mentioned working with Katie, Susie and Jason. You've all got these amazing soap backgrounds. Did that help with kind of bonding and the chemistry between you all?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, it's. I think when you've done a soap, certainly for an extended period of time, you all have a sort of bond because you're familiar with how it works, right? And the speed and the intensity and the sort of. We all come away from a soap and go, God, we'll never have a job like that because it's so full on. So I think, yeah, we all had conversations that were easy to sort of approach when it came to work, and an understanding of how each other worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched you on this morning saying that you're rubbish at whodunnits, but surely working on EastEnders, did that not teach you nothing, surely?
Because one thing, LJ, that EastEnders should teach you is that we never know who bloody done it, even 20 years later.
You know, did you never guess any of the EastEnders whodunits?
I didn't even know Keanu was dying until Christmas Day.
Well, no one did.
But normally you get like you get wind of it across the building, like you can sort of suss it out. I had no idea.
Well, hopefully after doing this one, you'll be a bit more clued.
Yeah, I'll be well versed in investigative skills.
You've not stopped working since leaving EastEnders. Did you think after stepping out of the Walford bubble that you'd be so busy?
No, is the short answer. I think, you always worry when you leave any line at work that things are going to be slow, things are going to dry up. And I think I took some time out, which was really healthy for my mind after leaving EastEnders. And knowing that I had Birdsong and then Murder at Midnight so many midnights, Midnight Cowboy, I sort of was enjoying riding that theatre wave, and so I feel very, very, very lucky that that people have been having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've not stopped, and it's just been lovely to see you doing so many different things. But shock twist, you are going back to EastEnders. Well, look,
Yes, well, it's a surprise to me as well. Yeah, so a little brief fleeting visit, which was lovely, all filmed and completed now, and Yeah, it was actually really lovely to see everybody. You know, it's funny, isn't it? 18 months or however seems like a really long time. But sort of doesn't feel like that long has passed in the end. But to people who are there, it feels like you've been gone for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it was really, really lovely to see him.
I'm not going to probe you too much, but we do know that you're in a barge, you're wearing handcuffs, and we might have seen some pictures of you kissing Tony Clay.
Yes. That wasn't scripted, love. That was just we hadn't seen each other for a while.
I thought as much. But is this the Ballum reunion that everybody's hoping for?
Well, it wouldn't be EastEnders if that was the case, would it? I mean, there's elements of real beauty and passion driven behind the whole impetus of their relationship, really. But there'll definitely be some shock twists, I think.
As a viewer, what do you make of Callum cheating on Ben with Johnny?
Well, I think you have to separate the character from the actor. The actor sees the reasons that Callum feels so torn and sort of that place of isolation and loneliness and responsibility. And I think it makes sense that Callum has made the decision. I think Ben obviously doesn't in the immediate see it that way, but I think reflection is important. And yeah, I think it's well written. I do think they've written it well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what people have been kind of waiting for, is the opportunity to see Ben again. And what I was going to say to you is, this essentially a lesson? Don't commit credit card fraud, especially abroad, because your husband will cheat on you if you get locked up.
Yeah, I think Shakespeare wrote something like that, didn't he? Was that a Shakespeare line? Yeah. Thou must not commit credit card fraud or thou shall be cheated on. I think
Stay in school, kids.
how the fable reads. Yeah. No, I think well it's crime doesn't pay, hey?
Absolutely. I think it's a strong lesson.
Yeah.
When you left a couple of years ago, was there a part of you that felt like you weren't done playing games?
Oh, that's a good question. I think where you spend so long with a character, you sort of become reliant on their every move, right? I think at the time I was resigned to the fact that Ben was gone, that I was ready to let him go. You know, I'd spent a long time making Ben making bad decisions, and this sort of last one seemed like a place to leave him, certainly for a while. So it's also quite interesting how my mindset's changed as the actor looking at Ben. 2 years on. So yeah, it was fascinating. I think at the time I probably felt that I was ready to let him go, but yeah, it's been nice to sort of check in on it.
And because you've played so many different varying roles since you've been off, what was it like to actually step back into his shoes just for that short time?
Very strange, very strange. I said what's been really weird is that I've been lucky in the roles that I've sort of played recently that I play characters with nothing but have immense hope. And then I go back and visit Ben, who sort of has everything, but just is miserable, whiny, but really interesting, multifaceted. So yeah, it was interesting. It was.
And you mentioned, obviously, kissing Tony. What was it like working with him again?
It was beautiful. We had a really good conversation before I went in and sort of just spoke about working together after such a, extended period of time. And yeah, it was a dream really. We had a couple of really big days together, and it was like working with him is a joy.
Yeah, and I think the Ballum fans are going to be very pleased to see you back together again.
I hope so.
Have they been coming to see you while you've been touring all over the country?
Yes, I'm honestly, one of the things that the show really, really has done is send these amazing waves of support for myself, and I'm sure for anybody else who's been on it. And I've had people come and visit and see the shows all around the country, Birdsong, and then Midnight Cowboy, and yeah, I feel totally blessed on that front. That people pay a lot of money to come and see these shows, and some people are coming 5, 6, sometimes 10 times, which is really kind.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's next for you after Murder at Midnight? Got any plans, ideas?
No, actually, a jobbing Laura-Jayne. I shall be knocking on people's doors and posting CVs, I'm sure.
Well, you've not been short of the work, so I'm sure you.
Well, I hope so. It'd be nice to get a call sort of in the next 5 days. If anybody's watching, let me know.
How long's the tour running for?
It goes till March next year.
Right, okay, so you're going to be quite busy for a while.
Yes. As things stand, I'm only on till December, but TBC.
Once Ben serves his time for his credit card fraud, and if the timing was right for you and EastEnders, would you be open to another return?
Yeah, I think I'd certainly be open to the conversation. Thing is, life changes so fast, so quick, and like we say, I don't know what next year's going to look like. I sort of there's 3 months left of this year, so any sort of conversations regarding projects and stuff, I'm totally open to. And if going back taught me anything, it's sort of the beautiful ambience that is there, and the people, and those are always positives that you look at from a job perspective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you've done a lot of work on stage as well, so you must have developed a bit of a taste for that. You must be enjoying it.
Yeah, I think I have, really. I mean, there is nothing like the buzz of live theatre, as I've so often said. And it's funny, like Susie, Blake and I were talking, and when you're doing theatre, you can't imagine doing telly, but when you're doing telly, you can't imagine doing theatre. So it's been really nice to have been able to tread the boards both ways.
Well, we're going to try and come and see you. I want to see this comedy detective that you're playing. Murder at Night. Tickets can be booked at murderplay.com, I believe.
Yeah, I'm glad you know.
Yeah, I do. Well, I've been doing my research, haven't I? Obviously, I'm going to be at this stage door like this analyst I am. But
Yay.
thank you so much, Max. It's been so lovely to thank you. And I know the Ballum fans are going to enjoy this because, we want to see you back in Walford, even if it is just for a brief spell. So
Thank you. Okay,
Right.
it's always lovely to speak to you, darling. You take care.
And you. Thank you, Max.
Bye, love. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, Max is such a lovely chat, Chloe. I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about Swarla and Rob Ron recently, but were you ever a Ballum fan?
I have to say, Ballum didn't get me like the others, but I feel like they had such a huge fan base. Like, it's obviously something that cannot be ignored. And I think, everyone's dying to see a bit of Ben again. I mean, talk about arriving at the worst possible time. He's with Johnny. Oh, it's so awkward. I'm really intrigued to see whether this is going to be like, Callum making a choice of Johnny, or whether he's going to, dump Johnny. I can't wait to watch, because I think it's going to be like really emotional and like character driven, and it's going to be great stuff, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's definitely a partnership that the audience wanted to see back together again in the same space, and how things have changed, and whether they're going to be able to. I mean, I imagine Ben's going to be booted straight back to prison. He's only on day release, isn't he? But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of drama that will unfold in that short space of time. And while we're on the subject of partnerships that we love, this brings me nicely onto the fact that Sharon is back in EastEnders this week, coming face to face with her old nemesis Zoe, who for me was a big part of the Shanice storyline back in 2004, 2005. Sharon and Dennis, oh my God, they were my favourites. So what do you make of the fact that these two love rivals are going to come face to face?
Well, I know Shanice is very close to your heart, so I know you're going to be like desperate to watch these scenes. I mean, Shanice is one of those all-time EastEnders partnerships that I think people still talk about to this day as being one of the best. So I'm sad that we haven't got Dennis, and we can't bring Dennis back. To have Zoe and Sharon head to head is really exciting. And I mean, we all know that Sharon loves a bit of the bitch fight, so I'm sure she'll be, grabbing at Zoe or doing some kind of, throwing a drink over or something. I can't wait for that. I'm really intrigued though, because Zoe tells Sharon something this week. Sharon is just like completely thrown into turmoil, and I'm like super intrigued as to what it could be. Sharon is kind of hoping that she's lying, but is Zoe lying? I know there's a lot of speculation out there of who is the baby daddy to Zoe's twins. Could it be Dennis?
Or Den? Do you remember?
I mean, that was a horrible storyline, wasn't it? Grim.
It was. I mean, as much as I wasn't Team Zoe at that point, because I was very much Team Sharon and Dennis, I did feel sorry for her when she went down the road she did with Dirty Den.
Yeah, so perhaps Sharon's got some siblings out there.
Like, that's a prospect that I can't even begin to fathom. But yes, it is going to be strange seeing them going at it. I kind of feel like that was a part of, place in history for me in EastEnders. So kind of seeing them in the 2025 space is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that era of the show is like probably, I'd say, EastEnders fans like most iconic times. And so to have all these great characters back in the same space, I mean, it's like a pinch me moment because, like we said the other week, it's amazing to have Zoe back. I think we probably never guessed she'd be back. So to have her in that space, have Sharon back, you know, we had Chrissy back, Sam, we're getting all the greats come back. I'm sure there's still probably some characters out there that everyone would love to see back, but it feels like all the big icons are back in the show at the moment.
I know, that's the great thing about EastEnders actually, is that they still have the capacity to bring back characters from like the last 20 years. You know, you don't often see that in many soaps. So yeah, I can't wait to see this sort of rivalry be reignited and talk of Dennis again, who, you know, I was such a big fan of. I'll confess that I was one of those people that waited at the stage door of Guys and Dolls to meet Nigel Harmon when he left EastEnders, brutally killed off. I've never forgiven them for that. Yeah, hopefully his memory will live on in these scenes between Sharon and Zoe. Now, we have to move on to Corrie Swarla drama. You and I have been following this story intensely the last couple of weeks because, of course, Becky's return has shaken everything up. Moving the story on, this week we see Ryan kind of put a bit of doubt in Carla's mind, kind of tells Carla that she should be watching her back. So I don't know, not quite sure whether Carla's been a bit easy breezy about it at this point, but certainly this is the week that she starts to go, okay, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I feel like we have talked about nothing but Swarla lately, but I know the drama has been, you know, full throttle. Friday's episode, we saw a lot more on kind of Becky's backstory. Is she lying? Is she telling the truth? And absolutely incredible scenes where they went to Becky's bench, which had a plaque on saying, you know, the years that she died, which is horrific for poor Lisa. But yeah, I think probably every Swarla fan is out there panicking that Lisa's going to cheat with Becky and Carla's going to be left out in the cold. I feel like I would say maybe brace yourself. I don't know whether there's going to be any sort of temptation there. But I mean, obviously, Lisa and Becky were super close at one point. They were married. Becky was a lover of Lisa's life at one point. But this week, yeah, Carla is maybe feeling like, can she trust? She can trust Lisa 100%, but can she trust Becky? I mean, Becky is actually moving to a flat near Weatherfield, which is a bit of a alarm bell should start ringing maybe for Carla, because if Becky's nearby, she's going to be popping around. In fact, she does call the house because she upsets Betsy this week. And Carla delivers the most brutal attack and says, you know, it's better off when you were dead, which I thought is amazing. Great from Carla. Nice to see her fight back a little bit. I just don't think Becky is a threat. She may be a short-term threat, but I don't think she's a long-term threat. I think she just can't compete. I think what Lisa and Carla have is so strong. And I think Becky is the past. And I think Lisa just has to have maybe a moment to realise that, you know, the past is the past and Carla's the future.
I was reading a lot of the comments from the fans straight after Becky returned, and we were really in that conversation. And, you know, people were saying like, look, this is Carla Connor. Like, you know, she's going to come out fighting. And that, I think, is what we are going to see this week. I think Carla probably is going to be quite respectful of this situation until she feels that, you know, enough is enough. You left your wife, your family, and now you've kind of got the nerve to come back just as they're happy again. Like, you know, that's not on. Yeah, knowing Carla as we do, I think she's going to front up this situation. But yeah, long way to go. We'll be there every step of the way. So people do continue to reach out to us about this. We are here.
Yeah, there is no support line. I have been asked. There is no support line. Let us be your support line. You can vent in the comments, but you know, it is a journey. You said in one of the comments, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's got to be a journey, otherwise they never would have brought Becky back. So I feel like, you know, expect there to be ups and downs and bumps in the road, but I feel like if you can see that light at the end of the tunnel, I am 100% sure, like I would put a bet on this, there is going to be a wedding. And there's going to be a successful wedding. There's not been a lesbian wedding in Corrie that has been a success. So there's going to be one, I'm sure. I'm convinced.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to kind of like defend the producers a little bit, because I know people think, oh, were they right to do this? But I think they were, because ultimately this gives us week in, week out Swarla action between now and certainly Christmas. Like, I'll be amazed if they're not, on screen every day of the week until then. So, I think the writers, producers, they know what they're doing. They know they've got something special here. And it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster. But I agree with you, Chloe. I do think there is going to be a wedding. It might not be soon, but this is why we keep watching.
Yeah, they've got to keep you watching every week, and that means there's going to be moments where probably things are not going so well, and you're going to be screaming at the TV, and then there's going to be moments where it's happy tears, hopefully.
Well, let's move on to Emmerdale, because we've got some more stuff with Ross and Charity coming up, where they're doing this secret DNA test to discover whether Ross is the father of Charity's baby. She's meant to be a surrogate for Sarah and Jacob, and think it's happened in that way, but it might not have done, because it might be Ross's. And yet the two of them are conducting this DNA test. I mean, you know what? Something quite funny I think we were discussing in the office, possibly some notes that you wrote down that I read recently. Kind of hope that it is Charity and Ross's baby, because Moses is a right cheeky one, isn't he? And if they're going to have another one, that would be really good.
Do you know, I actually love this storyline, and I know it got a lot of flack at the start. I don't want to watch 9 months of Sarah and Jacob saying to Charity, "Oh, have you taken your folic acid?" Like, it's not interesting. So bringing Ross into the storyline was a genius move. I'm not massively keen on Charity and Mack as a couple. I think the whole Chloe thing kind of ruined it for me, because it took the fun out of what they were like and kind of spoilt their kind of naughty, crimey spark. But I love Ross and Charity. In fact, I wouldn't say I necessarily ship them. I just feel like I would love them to be kind of, friends with benefits, or almost like, I can't stand you, but I will sleep with you every now and again, because I just think they're so much fun together. Ross, since bringing Ross back, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. So funny. He just, to me, like when he's in an episode, he always gets all the best lines. He's such a wind up. And I think obviously he matches Charity's fire and her spark. I think they're great. I really want it to be Ross's. I'm sorry to Sarah and Jacob to crush your dreams, but I also think they are kind of irritating as parents. Like, they're, I just feel like a Ross and Charity child would be probably not what Charity would choose, probably not what Ross would choose. So that's why it's the ultimate good decision, because it's what no one wants. I think that's always like in soap. It's always like the thing that's going to cause the most aggro is usually the best thing.
I agree. I have absolutely loved Ross since he's been back. He's so funny, and you've got all that history from when he was in the show before that you remember, but equally he just brings something new, and he's such an antagonist, and he just kind of, that spark with Charity is really, really great. I love anything to do with him. So, and also as well, I mean, the consequences of what's been going on with John, Aaron, Matt, like, you've just got the idea that Charity's now going to be pregnant potentially with Ross's baby, just like throws such a spanner in the works. So I'm here for it.
If Max survives and then he gets back to Charity, I don't know whether you've just seen the spoiler photos of him scratching her name into the bunker. So obviously he's, thrilled and dying to get back to her. He gets back and she's pregnant with Ross's baby. Oh, can you imagine the reaction? That's why I'm desperate for it to be Ross's baby, because I just think maximum drama. It would devastate so many people and cause so much chaos. That's why it has to be that. I would be so disappointed now if it ends up being Sarah and Jacob's.
That is absolutely, I love that so much. That reminds me of, did you ever used to watch Bad Girls?
No, I missed out on Bad Girls.
Oh my God, Chloe, you've got to fire up Bad Girls on a catch-up service. But the whole scratching Charity's name into the bunker, that is very reminiscent of when Linda Henry played Yvonne Atkins in Bad Girls, and Jim Fenner locked her basically underway in the tunnels of the prison, and she basically died down there, but was like scratching the wall. So, I mean, I hope this is not in Mac's future, but that's what it reminded me of. So apologies for going down that Bad Girls rabbit hole. But for anyone that loves that show, get on and watch it.
I'm sure there are a lot of Bad Girls fans out there.
Absolutely. Well, that brings our chat today to an end. We have loved chatting about all these twists and turns. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We want to hear from you. Email us at podcast@insidesoap.co.uk, and we will be back next week with more chat and more vents. Thanks for joining us.
No.